Okay, so now that we're done painting the primary colors, we are going to move on to color mixing. We're gonna move on to the oranges first. So there are 3 oranges that you guys are gonna be making. We're gonna be making regular orange, right, the secondary color. We're also going to be making yellow orange and red orange. So you guys can use these color wheels to compare your colors as you're mixing. If you can't see a difference between the colors whenever you're mixing them, and you can even test them on this section of your paper out here, if you can't tell a difference and yellow orange isn't lighter than orange, you want to add more of something, okay? So I always tell students to start with the lighter of the 2 colors. So we have our 2 primary colors, yellow and red on either side of orange. So these are the colors that get mixed to make all 3 oranges. So since we're gonna start with the lighter of the 2, we're gonna start with yellow, okay? So we're gonna add a bunch of yellow to our mixing cup, then we're gonna add a little bit of red. And hopefully we start with yellow-orange first, because then we just have to add a little bit more red for orange and a little bit more red for red-orange, okay? So it's just a combination of these 2 colors for all 3 oranges. So let's make it happen. So first, make sure your mixing cup is clean and your brush is clean. And I'm gonna kind of scoop my paper off to the side just to show you guys what to do. Now, I gave you guys 2 yellows. I want 1 yellow to be used for your oranges and 1 yellow to be used for your greens, okay? So pay attention. Which one looks like it might have some extra red on it? If one has extra red on it, use that one for the oranges, okay? If one yellow looks like it has some, a little bit of blue on it, use that one for your greens, okay? I'll show you guys how to clean the colors too, if you need to. So I got water on my brush. I'm gonna swirl on the top of the yellow until I start to get some color. And then I'm gonna take that color and I wanna transfer it. I wanna pick up as much liquid as I can. I wanna transfer that into my mixing cup. So I'm gonna like wipe it off in my mixing cup. And then I'm gonna do that maybe like 3 or 4 more times. So I'm gonna swirl it on there, and I can even use just the side of the cup and get that excess liquid off of there. Let's do that 3 more times. All right, guys, so check out how much paint I have in there. There's like a decent amount. Now remember, we're mixing not just 1 color. We're mixing 3 colors, yellow orange, orange, and red orange. So I wanna have enough paint to carry me over for all of those, so I don't have to start all over again. So you have to paint 3 sections with this 1 bit of paint. So you really do need a good amount of paint, okay? So once I feel like I have enough yellow, I'm gonna clean my brush. I'm gonna get a little bit of red. So I just did 1 little swirl. I'm gonna take my brush then, and I'm just gonna swirl it into the yellow. And whoa, check it out. I already have some color mixing happening. And now I'm gonna grab my color wheel and say, okay, what does this look like? Does this look like yellow orange, orange, or red orange? Whichever one it looks like, that's fine. You can start painting in that section. You can even test it on the paper and compare. I definitely made yellow orange, which is what I was trying to go for, but any of the oranges to start is perfect. So now I'm gonna paint my yellow orange section. Okay, so now that I've finished with my yellow orange, now I'm gonna try to go for orange. So since I have yellow orange in here, I just need to add a little bit more red to my paint to get to regular orange. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm just gonna swirl a tiny bit in the red, and then I'm gonna mix it up in my cup. And then I'm gonna check my color wheel before I do anything. So first of all, does it look different from yellow orange? And the answer for sure is yes. But instead of making orange, I made red orange. I can see it's identical to that on my color wheel. So since I have it, I need red orange. So I'm just gonna paint in that section next. A lot of students say, but it looks just like red. It does look close to red for sure. But once you paint it next to it, you'll see it's not exactly red. It's red orange. So I have red orange in my cup and I still need orange. So I'm here and I need to go back to here. So I'm going closer to yellow, so that means I need to add a little bit of yellow to my mixing cup. I'm checking my color here, and check it out. It's not quite yellow orange, it's not quite red orange, it's right in the middle. I'm gonna compare it to my color wheel here, and it looks good to me. So now I can go ahead and paint orange in the orange section. So my oranges are done. Now I'm gonna move on to the greens. So we have 3 greens. We have yellow green, green, and blue green. I definitely need to go clean out my mixing cup, because if I try to mix greens in here, basically it will just turn brown. So we don't want that to happen. So you guys are gonna stop at the sink, you're gonna go clean your mixing cup, and then come right back. So you just wanna rinse it out with water really, really quick, make sure there's no color on there, and then you'll continue on with the greens. So when we start with the greens, we're going to start with the lighter of the 2 colors. So yellow and blue make green. What do you think the lighter of the 2 colors would be? If you said yellow, you are correct. So we're gonna start with yellow first, and then add a tiny bit of blue. So we're gonna shoot to make yellow-green first. But again, we need all 3 greens. I'm also gonna switch to my other yellow, to the yellow that I want you guys to make the greens with. And trust me, you will be able to tell which one is which. So wipe off that paint in your cup. 3 sections with this paint, so you want to make sure that you mix up enough of it. Powerful of all the primaries, of all 3. And so you just need a tiny bit, mix it in, and then if you think you saw a color change, check your color. So paint a little bit, check it out. These paints are probably never gonna be as bright as what is on the color wheel, but it looks really, really close to yellow-green to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna paint the section that I labeled yellow-green. Go for green, clean my brush, get a little bit more blue, mix it up. Make sure you saw a color change. If it's not any different from your last color, you need to add more of something. So double check it. Again, these paints are a little bit darker. They're not quite as bright as these colors on the color wheel, but it looks good to me. Now I'm gonna go ahead and paint in my green section, which is the whole way here in the middle. To blue-green, so I'm gonna add a bunch of blue into my mixing cup. I'm gonna double check that color. Wow, I love blue-green. Again, it's not gonna be super bright like what you see on here, but this looks like a beautiful blue-green. So it's not quite blue, it's not quite green. It almost kind of looks like a navy blue, but it's not a navy blue, it is blue-green. It's done. Last section is the violets. So we have 3 violets to make, or 3 purples. So to make the violets, you need to mix the primary colors red and blue together. And so we're gonna make red violet, violet, and blue violet. So the lighter of the 2 primaries is red. So we're gonna start with red in our mixing cup first. We're gonna add a tiny bit of blue, try to do red violet first, then violet, then blue violet. So make sure you clean your mixing cup. Blue to that red, and bam, I'm mixing it up, and I'm gonna test it. It looks like the perfect red violet. I'm gonna go ahead and start painting that in where I labeled red violet. It should be right next to the red to depending on how you labeled your drip. In my brush, I'm gonna add a tiny bit of blue. Mix it up. I need to add more blue to get to purple. I'm gonna do that. I think I got there. I'm gonna double check with my color wheel. Oh, it looks great. I'm gonna go ahead and paint my purple or violet. And last but not least is our blue violet. I'm gonna add a little bit more blue to this purple. Mix it all up, test it, compare it on my color wheel. Oh my gosh, it looks great. Paint it in neatly. And that's it, drip painting done.